Hey, you ever been to Chancellor Park? That's where I live. My name is Tavin Dillard, and I live in a trailer park called Chancellor Park, and I mow lawns. I'd like to introduce you to my town. I've been making YouTube videos since about 2006, and then I've transitioned over to other platforms like the TikToks and the whatnot. But here on this podcast, I'd like to clue you into what's going on with me here lately. And this is like the pre-introduction. Now I'm going to send it off to myself for the real introduction. I'm glad you joined me. Bink, bink. Welcome to the Tavin Dillard Podcast, Season 3's Episode 5. So, I got to be aware. I don't know how you listen to this, but if you got in little your Walkman on or them ear things over your ears, I think sometimes my welcome can be too loud. But then I notice sometimes I just kind of trail off, and then it's like you got to really lean in to listen. I'm going to try to make it where it ain't too high, it ain't too low. We right down the middle of the railroad track kind of thing. But my name is Tavin Dillard, y'all, and welcome, because we scooting right along here in Season 3. Boy, the springtime, the birds is out, the flowers is blooming, the bees is making honey. What's that again? The bees is making honey. Bee House Honey is making Tavin's honey from bees. Well, our town's all abuzz. Speaking of bees, is that a word? A buzz? Or is it two words? A buzz. It's a buzz. It's a buzz. Is it one or two? If it's two, is it hyphenated? Well, a dash buzz. We all a buzz. Like F-150. Is F-150 hyphenated? You put the F and then you dash and then you 150? Or is it all together? I don't know. Them's a couple of the hyphenated words I know, and if they are hyphenated. If they ain't, then I don't know none right now off the top of my head. Anyhow, the reason our town is that way, that it's a buzz, is because there's a lot cranking. And like I said, you can't say buzz without thinking of bees, and you can't say bees without saying, hey, Tavin's honey is made from bees. And they make that noise with their wings, them bees do. It sounds like a buzz to the human ear. Now, I don't know what it sounds like to the bees' ears, or if they got ears. We getting into some territory, y'all guys, already. What are we? Maybe 1 minute into this podcast, and I don't know at all what I'm talking about. I don't know about hyphenated words, or a buzz, or bees' ears, but we talking about it all. It's just hard-hitting stuff that we just dig into right out the gate. We ain't easing in like the shallow end. We cannonballing right into the deep end today, y'all guys. But that bee house honey, I'm going to say, is especially good. They turning it out over there, tapping honey from bees. And did you know that you are just moments away from getting some of that honey? That's right. In the show notes for today's podcast is a link. You click it and you right there. Tavin's honey from bees. Oh, so good. Quick preview today. Softball season is around the corner, and you got to hear our new team roster. You're going to hear it. Now, we ain't playing yet, but you know how first things first. First, you need a team, and then the team plays. Well, I want to tell you the team. Now, we ain't playing yet because the season ain't started, but they done had the sign-ups, and people paid their fees and all that thing, and then so you get that squared away. So, we're going to do a little bit of that. And the concession stand team for the new season 2 is going to be announced. I'm going to tell you who's working a concession stand. Spring picnics coming up in town. What's that? Oh, stay tuned. On your radio dial, you tune it. Like a bait, like a guitar. And finally, speaking of bait, there's a local fishing tournament. What's that you say? A tournament where a no pro like myself can get out there on the water and compete. Yeah, buckle up, friends, because episode 5 of this season is here right now, and we steady into it, and that's a lot to talk about. Now, firstly, softball signups have begun, like I said. I'll get to that in a little bit. And B, the spring picnic is just around the corner. And 3, our town is going to have a local fishing tournament soon, too. I mean, we got our hands in everything, so it's liable to be eventful. And definitely worth talking about. Now, don't be fooled. None of that's happened yet. I ain't got a report on how the spring picnic went because it ain't happened yet. I ain't got a report on a fishing tournament because it ain't happened yet. But that's what's going to be in the upcoming podcast episodes here pretty soon. If you just start something for the first time now, you just beginning, like you ain't never done it before, whatever it might be, cartwheels or, building a go-kart, I don't know. It might be a little bit hard because it's the first time doing it, right? You know about that? Like if you're trying to like learn the trombone or trampoline or figuring out what makes an email go, like learning stuff that you don't know can be hard. Like some stuff and then you can learn more about it, but you got like a foundation, like you got some background, like you're like, oh yeah, I get it. I see where we're going with this because I already know stuff. But then something new, you don't know. That's why they call it new. That's why you don't know the new stuff. K-N-O-W, know, N-E-W, new. Not I used to knew that, K-N-E-W. Whew, I'm telling you, it's a mind bender today. But the way that goes is that once you do something that you ain't done before, or you learn something that you ain't learned before, it can be easier the next time you get in touch with that thing. Next time you try to do that thing. So that's how softball season is now for me. It ain't a big old process. Sign up. Oh, where do I sign up? Oh, who do I got to talk to about that? Figuring out teams and all that. Now I'm on. No. Here's the news. It's coming out right now, hot off the presses. I am on Team Burger Shed again. And most of the fellas are back for the spring season. Not everybody. I want to tell you about our lineup in a little bit. In the names on the roster. But first things first. Priorities, What's the deal with the concession stand? I mean, folks want their food at the fields. Even the players. Don't think them nachos with jalapenos ain't tore up some guts before games. Myron Curtis can tell you all about it. Even during games. After the game, you think folks would learn, though, to get some of that right before a game. Like, don't do that. Don't do that if you're going to play a game. But you know how it is. You get off work, you drive straight to the game, and then you smell that concession stand. The rest is history. Now, them nachos come and go. They ain't supposed to be on the permanent menu, but I just throwed it all out the window now. What do I know about the permanent menu at the concession stand? Not a lot, apparently, because I'm over here just saying, hey, sodies, snow cones, Skittles, hot dogs, we done. But we ain't done. Y'all know that. If you listen to any of my updates on the softball seasons in the past, you know that I got no say in there. And when I do try to have a say, even when my gal Cricket was working at a concession stand, it don't matter. They gonna do what they want, and you know what? That's their area. That's their job. So why am I getting in other people's business? They ain't coming to my lawn mowing stuff saying, "Hey, Tavin, why didn't you edge it first and then mow it?" kind of thing, or whatever it might be. So that's how that go. But sometimes them park bathrooms, because of the decisions folks making at the fields, especially with them nachos with the jalapenos, them bathrooms take a big hit. Big hit. Speaking of concession stand, somebody's got to work it this season, and you know about that. And I can tell you firstly who ain't working the concession stand. My gal Cricket, she's too busy. She ain't going to be able to. Now, she may be at some of the games because she want to cheer on Team Burger Shed, but that's different than feeling like you heading to the fields to clock in for work. And truth be told, that's volunteer anyway, all those folks that are helping out there. That ain't like paid job that they doing in them stands. They get free food, if they want to get a hot dog or something like snow cone like that away. But I mean, that's it. That's kind of it. And I can also tell you that it ain't gonna be Cheryl Grubbs neither. So guess who's back at the concession stand? That's right, Mary Beth Tucker. And Shailene Riggs, she's going to be helping down there too. So that may be what some folks think is most important lineup right there. Like, who's our concession team lineup? So it's going to be Mary Beth Tucker and Shailene Riggs. Then the next question is, what are they serving? And like I said, your guess is as good as mine at this point. I have no idea. I know what they're supposed to serve, but that don't mean they're going to serve just hot dogs, Skittles, sodas, and snow cones. And they got all kind of flavored snow cones. Don't just think, oh, what kind of, is it just cherry and grape? Well, you could be good with just them two. I'll tell you right now, them are good. But they got tangerine, which is my favorite. And they don't run out of that one a lot, but they have run out of all of them before except Pina Colada. And I just send them go to Burger Shed and get Dr. Pepper if that's all they got left. But they got, I'd say, 12, 15 flavors down there. And then you could do combinations. And some people get them cones, they get every color they got on there. It looked like a mess. It almost looked brown. They got all them colors on there, but some people like that taste. So that's how they go. Cindy Meidel, she brought a little bottle of tartar sauce for her hot dog, but that ain't something the concession stand offers. Some people bring their own extras, but that ain't something you expect from the concession stand every week. They got your basic, ketchup and mustard, of course. Bee House honey, which people will buy just to take home for them special occasions. You know, when Mary Beth Tucker makes them dinner rolls that are softer than a baby angel's leg. You can pick up some for yourself. Like I said, the link in my show notes, the honey. Now, not the rolls. You're going to have to make your own or run into Mary Beth. That's her mama's recipe. She know it, but who knows? That may happen to concession stand this season because Mary Beth's working there and she been known to, be the wild card. She can't bring no fires in there, though. She can't bring no fires. She can't bring no fire. She can't bring no propane tank. She can't bring no little grill, little hot plate. She can't do that because she burnt down a concession stand. Oh, what do you mean, Tavin? Like there's a little fire on the counter and you just have to pat it out with a paper towel? No, like they had to run out of that thing with the cash box and their shoes and get out there. Burned up the ice cooler, everything. I mean, that thing was a mess and it was like a little, y'all know. Y'all been here before. You know that story. I ain't got to recap Mary Beth Tucker's shameful efforts over at the concession stand. Now, she done a lot of good down there, and she learned her lesson. I ain't saying she's trying to burn it down every week. It's just, you try to do s'mores in there, and you lose track of what's going on. One thing lead to another, and that another is it's leading to a new concession stand. So, anyhow, if you don't know that story, you can probably go back to season 1 of my podcast and hear all about it. But what is the Team Burger Shed roster looking like for this season? There are some names you'll know and others that you might not know, but you know them from town, but not from our team. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, I now present to you the all-new, hot off the press, spring-summer Bud's Burger Shed current roster for the town's Adult Softball League. Number 1. This ain't in no particular order, just in the order I thought of them. So, in case you're thinking, is this first person, are they batting leadoff? They ain't like that. This ain't like the lineup as far as like this ain't the batting order, is what I'm saying. It's just the roster. It's the team roster. I could have done it alphabetically, where you put them in alphabetical order, but I didn't even do that. I just wrote down the names in the order that they came to my head once I knew who was on our team. Russell Tucker. No surprise there. He's basically the coach at this point. He write down the rosters every week. A long time ago, Myron Curtis lost that privilege. Basically from the get-go, right out the gate, Myron stumbled. Mort Dwidell, he hits dingers and can't have dairy. He's milk truck behagenist, so that's how that go. Myron Curtis, for better or worse, is on the team, and his gal is working a concession stand. How will that go? Hopefully better than it has in the past, but time will tell. Tavin Dillard, that's me. You probably figured I was on the team because why else would I give you some other team's roster, other than mine? And I done told you I was on Team Burger Shed. So that's 4 of us. Now we trying to field 9. Rusty Tidwell, Mr. Reliable. JT Whitlow, he's dating Cody Mantell's cousin Whitney now. She'll probably be at every game now. That's fine. I don't mind that. I just hope she don't bring an air horn to every game. That stuff drive you crazy. Even if they rooting for you and they blowing that air horn, it scare me. I don't ever get used to air horn. I don't know about y'all, but there's some things you just don't get used to. Even folks that live in Tornado Alley, they don't say, "Oh yeah, I'm used to them by now." It's not like they learn to like them. It's just like it is what it is. But you can't stop a tornado. But I think you can stop Whitney from bringing an air horn. I'd like to think so. Well, that's 6, and like I said, we usually play with no subs, just 9 guys. That mostly works out, kinda. So who's left? Well, one of these guys and the other 2, they ain't been on Team Burger Shed before. This next guy, he owns the bait and tackle shop. He gives haircuts out there too. His folks got a flea market in town. That's right, you guessed it. Rance Farnhart is back on Team Burger Shed, and we glad about that. Welcome back, Rance. He'd probably say welcome back too if he's here with me. Or thank you, whatever you say when someone says welcome back to you. Next, we got Donnie Wayne Chambliss, who has played plenty before, but not on our team. Something you might need to know about Donnie Wayne is that he's a repairman. There's a little shop out there next to the bait and tackle. It's on the lake, not far from the bait and tackle. I'm talking like 100 yards. He fixes dirt bikes, mopeds, ATVs, and my personal favorite, lawnmowers. So that's Donnie Wayne Chambliss. He ain't a runner. He's kind of sturdy, kind of in the line with like Mort Dwidell and Myron Curtis, but he can play some ball. And finally, Mr. Volunteer Firefighter himself, Ricky Don Pearson, has joined the team. Ricky Don's about 50, but the guys sure don't know it. Now, there was a rumor that Coach Hicks, my former PE teacher, head lifeguard in town, owner of the boxing gym that he's recently named Thunder Punch, was interested in this softball season, and he talked to Bud about being on our team and all that. Like, that's what the word on the street was. Well, Bud don't run our team. You know, he sponsors our team. Bud told him to talk to Russell, which ain't happened yet that I know about. So maybe we add Coach Hicks. I don't know. But he's so busy that he may even forgot that he wanted to play softball. He'll still go check on the Long John Silvers in the next county that he used to run. He don't run it no more, but he'll go and check on it sometimes, even go behind a counter. He'll eat there. If the service is good, he'll ring that bell, on the way out the door. So that's it. We ain't got Cheryl Grubbs ain't in the concession stand. Her husband Shane, he ain't on the team. He's coaching the track team this spring. So, he's out. But so Team Burger Shed is shaping up for the new season. Bud seems to like sponsoring us now. Like, we ain't got a plaque or a picture on the wall of the Burger Shed to show that he's proud of us, but maybe we'll see. Maybe we can talk him into that. I don't know. Bud is busy enough, though, right now because he is working on a spring picnic. What's he doing, you think? You say, oh, he must be making burgers. No, he ain't making burgers for the spring picnic. They got other things they grilling out there for that. He's the MC. That's the fella that holds the microphone and talks at the event. It's held at the softball fields. They got them big tents set up for like the stage and entertainment kind of thing. And they having a talent show this year. They also having a turkey salmon calling contest. How's that go? Well, you probably heard of a turkey salmon. There's a certain sound. I don't want to get too loud here, but it's a... But it ain't just the sound that you get judged on. It's also the technique. You know how salmon swim upstream and they get out the water and they up there and they like swimming in the air? You know about that? Well, all of that is going to go into your score if you're a contestant in the turkey salmon calling competition. They also got a men's quartet called Second Wind. They're going to sing there. Believe it or not, I helped out with them before. I don't like to brag or toot my own horn, nothing like that. Well, I ain't part of them right now, but I have before. I'm a tenor. me. Mabel Childress, she's like 90-year-old, and she want to do a baton routine, and they going to let her. She don't throw the baton or nothing. She going to be like them gals that did the early bird gets a perm ribbon cutting where they just hold on to it and swing it, or they ain't supposed to throw it. Maisley Grubbs, she ended up throwing hers and hitting Myron in the toe, and he had an ingrown toenail. You know that if you heard last week's episode. But anyhow, I guess she just kind of hold it, though. Mabel just going to be on stage and hold it. I didn't even ask. I don't even want to know about what her outfit is. She going to twirl it in her hands, and she don't let go. On purpose. She ain't supposed to. She might get a loose grip or a hand cramp or any number of things that cause her to let go of that thing. I would not advise sitting in the front row for that performance. Of course, there is going to be food there at the spring picnic. Like I said, they got a little rodeo that night, but it ain't at the fields. It's at the arena outside of town, but it's still like part of the spring picnic. It's part of them festivities. So that's how that is. And there's a pie contest. Not a pie eating contest, but who made the best tasting pie. So when I say Bud is sponsoring our softball team, that's it. He ain't doing nothing else. He too busy getting ready for the spring picnic to do that. So I'll have more on the spring picnic as that gets closer. And what else did I mention at the beginning of this podcast? That's correct. A local fishing tournament. Now, I'm a no pro and a pretty solid one, so I don't know how I'm going to do. I do know that I may ask a pro for a tip or two on, what I should do out there on the water. There are basics I know that I need. You might even call them essentials. What, Tavin? Well, firstly, snacks. That's priority number one. Hot fries, powdered donuts, wag bars, Mountain Dew. I like that on the water, PBJ, but I ain't never mad at Dr. Pepper either. Bacon, water ain't a bad idea neither. Snacks. And B, you need a fishing pole, the old rod and reel, as they say, near the water. And of course, you need a hook and a lure and some sort of bait. But now, maybe you already know all this, but you can't have live bait on a fishing tournament, at least the one we having. And even though this ain't a pro tournament, them's the rules for this one. So that's how that go. So that's going to be in about 3 weeks if my math is right. Just like the spring picnic, I'll keep you updated. The spring picnic coming first. That's what's coming in hot. I got to kind of keep my eyes on that. There is like an entry fee for the fishing tournament, and then they got local businesses donating prizes, and there's some money to win too. Plenty to be looking forward to. Hey, I've been fishing quite a bit now. It's time to really show folks what I'm made of. what I'm able to do out there in the water, how I can achieve fishing success and inspire the next generation of fishermen to do the same, and to fisher gals. My gal Cricket, she fishes better than me, but she ain't got no interest in a tournament, but buddy, I sure do. I also got to figure out which hat to wear and all that. There's a lot to think about. You can't just show up and figure they're going to hand you a trophy. Oh, no. For one thing, I'm pretty sure they ain't giving out trophies at all in this tournament, so that's how that goes. So if you expecting one, even if you win, you ain't going to get one probably. Maybe they'll have some bee house honey to give away to the winners. Good news is you ain't got to enter the local fishing tournament to get any of that honey. Nope. Go to the link in my show notes, y'all guys, for Tavin's Honey from Bees. It's good honey. Now for softball season, most of us got uniforms already because we played on Bud's Burger Shed before. There's a couple of folks who are going to have to get new ones because after a couple of seasons and wearing it to change the oil in their trucks, they're going to need a fresh one. Then we got Donnie, Wayne, and Ricky Don who ain't played on Team Burger Shed before, so that's all got to get handled the sooner than the later, as they say. I'm telling you, if I told you once, I told you more than once, our town is all abuzz. And now you know why. We are on the verge of a brand new softball season, the spring picnic, and a fishing tournament. Come on. Ain't you glad you part of this ride? I'm sure glad you are. Thanks so much for joining me here today on the Tavin Dillard podcast. Please take a minute to rate this show and leave me a comment on wherever you listen, iTunes or wherever you listen to the podcast. You can always holler at me on a text message. You'll see that in the show notes, or my email. That's in the show notes. And of course, check out that show notes for the Tavin's Honey from Bees. And it probably is time to start working on your turkey salmon call. We'll see you later.